My brother-in-law, Mayshe Schwartz, with his wife Shifra, moved to Massachusetts and opened the Chai Center East. Schwartzie was so proud of Mayshe and many times exclaimed how, in such a short period of time, Mayshe was getting greater numbers in their events than the Chai Center here in Los Angeles. They have a thriving organization, and it is my pleasure to call the founder and director of the Chai Center East, Rabbi Mayshe Schwartz.
Good evening, everybody. Esther, thanks for calling me up. And I think you got the statistics right there, too, as well. Appreciate that. I'd like to first start off by saying a special thank you to my Ima for not just being there in the last 4 years next to my father, but really from the day she met my father. It is because of my Ima that this family is what it is today. It's because my Ima that we are all united, strong, loving. Thank you for making this family what it is. Now, your agent didn't get back to me yet if you're going to be speaking later tonight, but we're going to leave that open. And as far as the future goes, Ima, we're all looking forward to seeing you develop and enjoy your next chapter in life, giving more classes, more learning. I know there's going to be some traveling involved in there as well. But whatever it is, we're looking forward to it and bringing more joy and more Judaism to wherever you go. I know you're going to be here in LA, but I think there's traveling going to be involved with us. Something, just a wild thought could happen. I also want to say a special thank you to my brother Mendel, who's been with my father for the last 14 years. Mendel, really, managing my father is not exactly the easiest thing in the world. Mendel has done an amazing job with that. He continues to do a great job. And especially in the last 4 years, it's been difficult, which Esther deserves a big applaud, because we know when the husband is busy. We know when the husband is busy, we know the burden really falls on the wife, and thank you for standing up, which reminds me that my wife is actually in Boston right now. There's going to be a snowstorm tomorrow, and it's all on her again. So thank you, Shifra, if you're listening, watching. If I come home a few days late, maybe a quick Vegas run, I apologize, but I love you. And I also want to bless Mendel to continue in my father's way. You'll continue to evolve. You'll continue to take on the Schwartzisms in every aspect of your life, to stay connected to the Rebbe, to internalize his mission, to bring Mashiach, and do it in a way of the love and spirit and joy that he was able to do it. And that goes a blessing for the whole family. Speaking about the whole family, while we did have some members of the family speak, I want to at least mention everybody by name here, because Mendel's very prompt, and if we were all going to speak, it would take a couple of days, and I think Craig only signed up for tonight. So I want to talk about the LA siblings specifically, because a lot has fallen on their shoulders while my father's taken ill, and they would come often to help out and to see and bring their kids. So a special thank you to Dov and Ora. Special thank you to Yak and Dina for being with us. A special thank you to the most eligible bachelor in LA, Shmuley. I'm just going to say one thing right now. If you're single, marry this guy. He's gold. Just forget the dating thing. Just grab a foot and go for it. The second most eligible bachelor in LA, Kobe. Kobe is right now the man of the house. He's there at 3115 Purdue, taking care of Ima. By the way, my brother Kobe is the youngest in the Schwartz family. I'm 3 to the top. We're 21 years apart. I met him on the plane on Schwartz a couple weeks ago coming back. And I introduced myself as, hi, I'm Mayshe. We should probably talk. So, God works in mysterious ways. We had that opportunity. Thank you. My oldest sister, Chanik. I don't remember if it was Rick who mentioned, but She maintains to be the angel in our family, and she's the guiding angel in our family. Of course, we have Chef Yos and RL, all the way from Miami Beach. I believe someone told Yos there's a party here, so he called Zalmi and everybody else. And someone tells me there'll be an after party somewhere tonight. Please text me the address. Thank you. Rick and Mendel. Rick is actually my younger sister, but somehow she became my older sister. I don't know how that happened, but that's where it's at. Barry and Elisheva. Thank you, brother. We've also reconnected you last month. I'm very happy about that and looking forward to more of that, Barry. Of course, Hindel and her husband, Yossi Swirlov, who's hopefully watching in Israel. Hindel came here often. She should get her own plane in the last 4 months, back and forth. And a special thank you to Yossi Swirlov for covering for her for all the time she came here. I know I speak for all my brothers and sisters in thanking Yossi for marrying Hindel. We appreciate that a lot. I think I'm about halfway through it. Ready, hang in there. Did I miss anyone? Ooh, it's here. And of course, the very, very quiet, but very, very wise, my older brother, Shloshim and Rabbi, who's here tonight. He's always had a way to guide the family in his own quiet way. We always look up to him and always will. Manages, this is not easy to do, I'm about to say, he manages to sidestep the drama in the Schwartz family and to stay focused. That is not an easy job. Shai does it well, so thank you, Shai. Although you heard from him earlier, he does deserve a special thank you. Our dear friend, the Cohen, Dr. David Katzen. He really, really dedicated himself, especially in the last 4 years, in doing whatever he can to make my father live longer and do it in a comfortable and respectable way. That is not lost on any of us. Thank you, David. Serendipity, synchronicity, bashert. I'm sure most of you have heard those words before. Leave it to my father to have Shloshim on Purim, and then the gathering on Shushan Purim. As I speak to you, my alcohol blood level is higher than anything I could be driving. Thank God for Uber. I am nursing a nasty hangover, and we're all getting together on the Shloshim for my father, Shushan Purim. How about that? L'chaim, everybody. I'm going to take you to early 1980s Westwood Village. My father was really the inventor of guerrilla advertising. Before any big event, he would say to me, Mayshe, we got to put up some flyers. It didn't really appeal to me too much, but he asked in a way where you're not saying no. So oh, yeah, of course, I'm ready, let's do it. And we put flyers up on cars all over Westwood Village. I don't think I was older than maybe 11 at the time. And he would get really into it. He would say, hold the tape this way, put the flyer upside down that way. No one's going to miss that one. He had his 2 upside down for sure. That's a winner right there. Then one time he says to me, he says, Mayshe, you see the 7-Eleven on the side? I said, yeah. He goes, run in there now. I said, why? He goes, the cops are following us. What do you mean they're following us? What do we do? I was wondering, was he a criminal? I didn't know about it. Didn't see anything wrong. We used to do this all the time. He says, Mayshe, go into 7-Eleven and hide behind the chips. I'll see you in 5 minutes. I'm there, and I said, Ta, what's going on? He says, it's very simple. I think it's illegal to put flyers on postcards. And after an hour putting up 500 flyers. He says, but if you're shopping in 7-Eleven and you're not in the act, chances are the cops can't really pull you over. Besides, you're a minor. It won't take me if they know you're with me. And basically, I became like fodder for him to put flyers all over the place. And I'm thinking to myself, I have a lot of friends that were my age. Some of them are here tonight. there is no way they're doing this with their fathers after school. So at a very early age, it hit me that my father's a little different than the other dads I go to school with and see. But I took a lot of pride in that because, first of all, when you're 11 years old, dodging cops is actually a fun thing. I worked out well. And getting chips and Slurpees in the process, also nice. So I've come to develop, even though it was difficult at times, a certain appreciation for my father's style. I'll share with you another great story about his boldness and fearlessness. One time, Rabbi Wolpe was debating Rabbi Boteach at Sinai Temple. Boteach had just written an article. I'm not going to go into the details right now. It was featured in a certain magazine, which I will not go into the details of which magazine that was. I was a little bit older, maybe 19. But not having a subscription to that magazine, I heard about it. It appealed to me. It's going to be debated in a synagogue with Boteach, and Wolpe could be interesting. And to go with my father anywhere, as we all know, was always fun, because as soon as he'd walk into a room, he'd be a draw. Everybody wanted to know who he was, hang out with him, those that didn't know, those that didn't know. You were always with this celebrity sort of status, and I was his kid, so I get to, rub off of that, and that was always a fun thing to do. The fact that I was a 19-year-old yeshiva boy and he would take me to this event showed you his fearlessness, and he wasn't scared, even in educating me in his own indirect way, to not be scared of what could be perceived as you should, you shouldn't. He was guided by halacha, and anything outside of that, if it could mean to affect more Jews, he was all in. And so, in addition to this lecture that was taking place, here come the flyers again. He goes, Mayshe, there's a lot of Jews here. I hope Rabbi Wolpe's not here when we get in trouble. But there's a massive parking lot downstairs. Grab the flyers and hit all the cars. So we are in the garage. My father sneaks out with me. We're putting flyers on cars. We see a Rolls Royce. He says, give him two. It's a Rolls. Get the two. And it had to be tricky because you could set off an alarm easily on those Mercedes and stuff like that. So it became a whole art form. But he figured out a way how to do it. And he had his own style. And even though it was tricky at times, like I said, as the years would go on, I would understand more and more his greatness. One last one about his boldness and interestingness and uniqueness. I'm sure some of my friends can appreciate that. There were 2 years that we had not gone to Chabad Yeshiva. There was a tight budget, and we all had to transfer over to Yeshivas Torah Semis. For the most part, it was overprivileged from kids over there. But what the heck, there were 9 Lubavitchers that went in there, and we were very popular. We did okay over there. We had a great time. We had a lot of good friends there. And I was always worried. You see, my father had a bumper sticker collection, but that wasn't the tough part. He actually displayed the bumper sticker collection on his car. So the entire car was all full of crazy bumper stickers. Some of you may remember that. And I would pray that my emo would pick me up from carpool because it was a ritzy kind of school. I was embarrassed. And my father, sure enough, I'm playing basketball, and the Suburban rolls up, and there's bumper stickers everybody, and I looked at my friends and said, I gotta go, my uncle's here. Bold, fearless, outrageous, keeps on going. I'd like to share a couple of Schwartzie truisms, switching gears here a bit. On one of the things that Mendel printed tonight, you have, and I've been thinking of this particular one a lot. Judaism is an unbreakable being, not a theological theory or practice. I think David mentioned this earlier as well. It's not something that we add to our lives, Judaism. Can we figure out to eke out 20 minutes to go to the gym and then another 20 minutes to eke out some Torah because I am Jewish, I should add some Jewish value to who I am. Judaism is not what you add to yourself, Judaism is who you are. And my father, this wasn't just a saying, when he met people, he would bring out in them this truism, that we are an unbreakable being. We are not a theological or theoretical topic or discussion. When you understand that truth, the sky's the limit of how you can advance yourself in your own relationship with Hashem and Torah. So that's something that stays with me and should stay with all of us. And the question is how? Okay, once you know that truism, how are you gonna be a part of that? How is it gonna be a part of it? And so here's another one. Yittle by yittle. Right? You've heard that. So yittle by yittle means what it means. One step at a time. Just continue to figure out how to advance yourself one step at a time. This didn't happen overnight. This is not just my morning period. This took some time. So we can all get there yittle by yittle. And how do we fan that out? So here's another great one. Judaism is not something you got to do, but something you get to do. I've heard my father say that thousands of times. And he meant it. And he lived it. It's not something you got to do, it's something you get to do. When you realize that you can have Shabbos even in Los Angeles, and you can get to do Shabbos, you can get to keep kosher, you can get to put on tefillin, you can live like a Jew in 2017, regardless of the mishigas around us, it's something that you get to do. It's not something you got to do. We don't observe the Shabbos. We are not observant Jews. We're celebratory Jews. We celebrate the Shabbos. Another Schwartzie truism, powerful. The idea of to observe something, I observe, but to celebrate, who doesn't like to celebrate? Celebrate Shabbos. And the last one, which will lead me into a Torah, which I would like to share as well, is the number one cause of assimilation is actually not intermarriage, it's not assimilation, but rather it is the fear of being a hypocrite. I've heard my father say this also countless of times. What does that mean? That the number one problem of assimilation is the fear of being a hypocrite. Not being a hypocrite, the fear of being a hypocrite. But what that means is, someone says, I'm sorry, I'm not going to put on tefillin today because I don't plan to put it on tomorrow. And at least I have my intellectual honesty to work with. But what we don't understand is, in the name of intellectual honesty, our spirituality can suffer. Spirituality doesn't operate the same way intellectual honesty does. And intellectual honesty is overrated when it comes to spirituality anyways. So the fear of being a hypocrite slows our potential and our spiritual growth. We cannot allow that to happen. Now, what that means and I would like to describe that a little bit more, but we're going to have to learn a little bit of Torah. Anybody want to learn a little Torah tonight? I believe this is the stage where high holiday services for the last several years, which will continue to be. Mendel's going to run that. Mendel, I'm sorry, I'd love to help you out, but I'm very expensive these days, so you'll figure it out. What is the most, let's go interactive right now. What is the most important prayer in all of Judaism? Shema. Good crowd, I like it. Okay, so right now, what we're going to do right now is everybody's going to take their right hand and cover your eyes, and we're going to pray Shema, and then we're going to talk about it. Y'all ready for this? Okay. Let's do it together on three. Together we're going to pray the Shema. 1, 2, 3. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Sound very religious in row number 4 there. Good job. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. The Shema, it's in our tefillin, it's on the mezuzah. It's number one prayer in all Judaism. And when we look into the Shema a little bit further, what is the first message after we say the Shema? V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. So the question is, if you love God with all your heart, and you love God with all your soul, what's left? You've given him your heart, you've given him your soul. What does might add? Okay? Not wrong, but
that's the part you're afraid of to see yourself, that you're holding back.
Excellent. Get him an extra glass of wine. Fantastic. That is the answer. Ma'odecha means the very part of us that we think we can't be. How many people in this room have thought of themselves as, I'm not that kind of a Jew? Ma'odecha means to be that kind of a Jew that you think you can't be that Jew. I don't keep the Shabbos. It's not who I am. The fear of being a hypocrite. Me'odecha means don't be so fearful, be that kind of a Jew. Every single person in this room at some point asks themselves that question, am I that kind of a Jew? For a religious person living in Hancock Park, they're going to say, I'm not that kind of a Jew. Should I invite people to my house Friday night? It's not who I am. I hang with religious people like me, have a secular person in my house. What are we going to talk about? I'm not that kind of Jew. That's for Schwartzie and his chevra. God forbid. Every single person has to push themselves with this idea of me'odecha. Don't worry about being a hypocrite. You can start off by saying good morning to your neighbor. After a few times saying good morning, say good evening. Before you know it, you may actually have a couple conversations, and then you can invite them to your house for Shabbos. Every person can find their area of me'odecha. I think now more than ever that we're standing here together, sitting here together, and we think of ourselves and we think about my father, and we think about the holiness and the spirit that he brought to the city and to thousands of Jews around the world. We all know his dedication and commitment to do whatever he can to prevent assimilation. Assimilation is not about federation and statistics about what we can do, what new slogans are going to be, what new signs, what new ads. It has to start from every single one of us right here, right now, including my siblings, my brother Mendel, my Ima, myself. Me'odecha means to push yourselves into areas that you don't think you could, you don't think you should, and somehow you know that God gives us the strength to allow ourselves to be more, to do more. And this is something that my father was amazing at. When he met a Jew, he would zone in on what their me'odecha issue was. What was the area that bothered this Jew? Where were they struggling? They're a Jew in their heart. Like I would say, everyone says, I'm a Jew in my heart. And I'm a Laker in my heart, but no one gave me a contract, you know what I mean? So what does this mean, me'odecha? Everyone struggles with the me'odecha part. It's a Holocaust issue slowing into it. My father would zone in on this me'odecha and somehow magically massage it and let them know it's okay. You can go a step further. Yidel by yidel. Celebrate the Shabbos, etc., etc. I think if there's one thing we can learn from, it's this area of me'odecha. There's a lot to learn from, but that's a highlight. I want to close with another great teaching or more attitude that my father always had, that I think it's important that we all incorporate in our lives, is at the very end of the halacha, when we talk about Megillah and Purim, there's a discussion about Purim Katan. If there's a leap year and there's Purim, do you have a Suda, do you not have a Suda? What's important for this moment is that it ends up the Toiv Lev Mishatamid. Even though you do not have to have a Suda on Purim Katan, but if you do have one, the Tov Lev Mishatamid, that your heart will be rejoiceful always, Tamid, forever. And the Rebbe spoke about this a lot. Tamid doesn't mean all of Purim. Tamid means the entire year. And there was actually a t-shirt that my father had called the Toiv Lev Mishatamid. Always be ready to party. Always celebrate life. Always appreciate what you have. The Toiv Lev Mishatamid. The only real way we are going to advance ourselves in Yiddishkeit, in addition to the truisms that I share with you, is to be more in sync with our soul. The more joy we do it with, the more we fill our lives and we anchor ourselves with Hashem, the more beauty, the more we'll be sheltered from the Mishigas that Gullus is today. We don't need to get into the statistics of where it's at. And the only way to anchor ourselves and arm ourselves is with simcha, with joy. My father never missed an opportunity for simcha and joy. I can't help but share one more story. I know I'm going over time here, but I got to do this one story. My father came to me 6 years ago for a bris, and I think it was a Sunday bris, Saturday night. It was 11 o'clock at night, and he says, Mayshe, where does Mendel Folkman, a friend of his, used to live in LA? I said, he's in Worcester. How long does it take to get there? He says, about an hour. So he says, let's go. I said, go. It's an hour there. It's an hour back. You're going to come back 2 o'clock in the morning. The bris is at 7:30. He goes, Mayshe, you only live once. This is my father, who's 25 years old. He's pushing me. He's letting me go party with him. It was hard to keep up, but I went. We had a good time. V'toiv leiv mishtatami. Always be happy. Simcha peretz geder. Ein hashchina shora ela b'toiv simcha v'chein l'dvar halacha. That God only resides in happiness. And we have to continue to figure out how to push ourselves, even in the gullus, even where it seems that there's leadership is not around us or as a parent. We have to tap into that and continue to find happiness. I'm going to conclude with a blessing, and then I'm done. May we merit to take the joy that my Father gave us all. May we use that joy in all our lives, especially in our relationship to Judaism, to come closer to Hashem and each other, until we merit to dance together, reunited with all our loved ones, in Yerushalayim, in Tzfas, in Hebron, with the coming of Mashiach. Thanks for listening.